kind of crazy, right? Like the internet can be this incredible tool, for connecting with people, sharing your thoughts and passions, building these whole communities online.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
But then there's this whole other side, this dark underbelly of the internet,
Yeah.
the trolls, the hate, the constant negativity.
Yeah.
It can be brutal.
Yeah, it's like there's no filter sometimes.
And that's what we're going to unpack today. The story of Senor Alex Fuel, the guy behind the popular gaming channels, Redemption Games, and the guru of games.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him. Wasn't he targeted by some pretty intense trolling?
Intense is an understatement. This guy, he built this whole following online, right?
Right.
And then, bam, he gets slammed with this tidal wave of negativity. And I'm not talking about a few mean comments here and there.
What, it was more than just your average trolling?
Oh, way more. This was next level stuff. Fuel actually talks about how it went from, like, annoying comments to straight up death threats. The kind that make you fear for your safety.
Wow. That's when it crosses a line. It's scary how quickly things can escalate online. We see it all the time.
Right.
It might start with a few negative comments, which, let's be honest, most people who put themselves out there kind of expect, to some degree.
Yeah, it comes with the territory, right?
Exactly. But without any intervention, any attempt to set boundaries, it can spiral out of control.
Yeah.
And fast.
And it takes a toll. I mean, think about the psychological impact of that kind of relentless negativity day after day.
Oh, absolutely. The constant anxiety, the fear, the self-doubt, it eats away at you.
And it's so easy to forget that there's a real person on the other side of the screen, experiencing those emotions.
It's like people forget their empathy sometimes when they're online.
Right. But in Fuel's case, it got terrifyingly real. Because it wasn't just happening on his gaming channels. The trolls went after his family and friends, too, his personal life.
Oh, wow. See, that's when it becomes especially cruel. It's one thing to attack someone online, but to drag their loved ones into it, that's just wrong.
Totally. Fuel even talks about them sending disturbing images to the people he cared about. This wasn't just online trolling anymore. It was straight-up harassment, impacting his real-world relationships, his well-being.
And that speaks to a larger issue, too, about the blurring of boundaries between the online and offline worlds.
It's that people think there are no consequences to their actions online.
Right. But there are. And in Fuel's case, it got really ugly. They used another tactic against him, something that's unfortunately pretty common in the streaming world, e-begging.
Okay, yeah. Explain that a little bit.
But so e-begging is essentially when creators become overly reliant on their audience for donations and support.
Which, I mean, on the surface doesn't seem inherently bad, right?
Right. These creators are putting their heart and soul into their content, often depending on platforms like Twitch to make a living. It's understandable that they would ask for support.
So where's the line?
That's the thing. The line between genuine engagement and what some might perceive as desperate pleading, it can get really blurry.
And the trolls, they saw that as an opportunity, right?
Oh, yeah. They weaponized it.
They painted him as this, like, greedy, manipulative person taking advantage of his audience.
Exactly. They took his vulnerability and amplified it, twisted his words to inflict maximum damage.
Classic cyberbullying, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a digital smear campaign.
Sure, we're talking doxing, cyberbullying, this relentless negativity. Sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It's tough, Imagine pouring years of your life into something, your passion project, you've built a community, and then
It's all ripped away.
just like gone. And not just because of some business decision or algorithm change, but because of this targeted harassment.
That's got to be devastating, I mean, just emotionally.
Absolutely. The emotional fallout is huge.
Yeah.
Think about it, starting from scratch after putting so much of yourself out there.
Yeah, and with all this extra baggage.
Exactly. It's not like you're starting fresh. It's starting over with the weight of what happened before.
So what happened with Fuel? Did he just walk away from it all after that?
You might think so, right? I mean, it'd be understandable.
Hold on.
But Fuel, he's got this resilience about him. He talks about feeling lost, questioning everything, but he didn't let it break him.
So what did he do?
He took that pain, that frustration, and channeled it into something new. That's how the Storyfuel podcast was born.
Okay, so instead of gaming, he starts a podcast. Interesting. Tell me more.
It's a really interesting evolution, actually. The Storyfuel podcast isn't just about gaming anymore.
It's not?
Nope. He uses it to share his story, connect with people on a different level.
That's amazing. So it's like he took this awful experience and found a way to turn it into something positive.
Exactly. It's a testament to his creativity, finding a new outlet for his voice.
I like that. Turning the tables on the trolls, right? Not letting them win. But it's more than that, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's about resilience, finding new passions, and honestly, it speaks to this bigger trend we're seeing with content creation.
How so?
It's about moving beyond just niche interests and focusing on genuine human connection.
Yeah, like finding that common ground, right? No matter what you're into. But it took hitting rock bottom with all that online hate for him to get there.
It's like finding that silver lining, turning a negative experience into this opportunity for growth and reinvention. And he's not just doing it for himself either.
What do you mean?
He's setting an example for others, proving that you can overcome online harassment, rebuild, and find new ways to pursue your passions.
So inspiring, right? Just like, even when it feels like everything's falling apart, there's a way through. Okay, so for our listeners out there, especially anyone dealing with their own online battles, what can we take away from Fuel's story?
Fuel's story is like a huge reminder that online harassment doesn't have to be the norm. You can fight back.
Hey, you should, right?
Absolutely. Set boundaries. Don't be afraid to disengage, block those toxic accounts, report abuse when you see it. These platforms, they have rules for a reason.
And what about seeking support? I imagine that's crucial too.
100%. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, family member, a therapist. Bottling it up just makes it worse.
Yeah, you don't have to go through it alone, ever.
And I think even for those who haven't experienced this kind of harassment firsthand, Fuel's story is a good reminder that there's a real person on the other side of the screen. Words have power, and we've got to use them responsibly.
It's about creating that safer, more supportive environment online for everyone. So much easier said than done, but that's the goal, right?
Absolutely. We can all be a part of making that happen.
Well said. And on that note, Fuel's story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of adversity, there's always hope. It's about finding your voice, taking control of your own narrative, and turning even the toughest experiences into something positive.
Because sometimes the best revenge really is just living well.
And creating something amazing. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but I hope this conversation helps empower anyone struggling with the dark side of the internet to reclaim their space and use their voice for good.